All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get started here. I want to welcome you all to the regularly scheduled meeting of the governing body, City Council governing body of Spring Hill, Kansas on Thursday, October 9th, 2025. If you guys could stand with me, I'll go ahead and do the invocation. Father God, thank you for this day, God. Thank you for bringing us all together once again to try to make the best decisions for our citizens, God, and for the community of Spring Hill, God. Give us wisdom and guidance as we do that. In Jesus' name, amen. Please remain standing for the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, if you could please take the roll.
Mr. Young,
Here.
Mr. Peel,
Here.
Mr. Thron, Mrs. Feback.
Here. Sorry.
That's okay. Mr. Grant,
Here.
Mayor, we do have a quorum present.
Thank you very much. And Mr. Throne will be here real shortly. He messaged he's running just a little bit behind in traffic, so. All right, next we'll move on to the approval of the agenda. We did have a request to move executive session number 1 to follow announcements and reports, so basically in the usual spot that it normally is. Other than that, are there any other questions or comments?
No.
If not, I entertain a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Not all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0-0. Next, we'll move on to citizen participation. This is a time when the public can come and speak about whatever they would like to talk about. We did have someone sign up this time, Mr. Mark Jenkins. If you could just come up and state your name and your address, that would be great. And then if there's anyone else in the audience after him that would like to speak, you can follow him up.
119 East Nickel Street, Spring Hill, Kansas. I want to give these pictures as a way to discuss, I'll see a little bit more of what I'm talking about. I was here about 3 months ago to the day, July 10th, at a meeting and brought up my carport issue, which was evidently deemed illegal. I didn't apply for a permit at that time. I didn't know I needed one, and so when I found out that I was in violation, I went to the code enforcement to try and pay for that, and basically was told even if I had applied, it wouldn't have passed, and I had 10 days to remove the structure. I'm not going to read everything that I have written down, but I had a court date after I received a citation about 5 weeks after the structure for non-permit, as well as 17.130, which is, I guess, development codes and standards to not allow carports in the front of a property or in front of the build line. My question is, how is a carport considered a permanent structure if it is not attached to the house, nor is it cemented to the ground? It's held down by pegs, so it can't be blown away in a windstorm, but it is by no means a permanent structure. So I'm concerned about that. Its only purpose is to protect my personal vehicle in inclement weather. As you'll see in some of the pictures there, the snow, I think that was 12 to 18 inches, and I'm still required to get to work. I'm a FedEx ground delivery driver. Been delivering for Spring Hill now for 7 years. At the end of this month, I have 9 years with FedEx. I'm kind of a de facto Spring Hill employee since I deliver to all of the Spring Hill area. What I'm requesting, I suppose, then, is a ruling or wording change to this particular statute. I realize there is a variance process, and I had started that in the summer. I had no problem paying the $400 and trying to get go through that process. I even went ahead and removed 2 trees behind my permanent fence to, after I take the fence down and so forth, where I could push it and be legal. However, in that process, it came to be that it was going to cost me roughly between another $5,000 to $6,000 to make my $1,500 carport legal. Kind of doesn't, the means don't justify the ends. And I did pay $1,700 to do tree removal to get the trees removed so I could move it. Basically, I'm trying to see if you all can put some sort of credence to this on a case-by-case basis. I'm not saying throughout the statute, but make the wording as such to this particular 1.730, that there might be exceptions to the front of the property. I've parked my car there for 6 years. I have a permanent fence. Trying to make it legal was not cost effective. It would be around $7,500 to save my $1,500 carport to protect my vehicle. I would love to see some sort of, in the future, hopefully before this mayor and council adjourns before the new term, to possibly rework the wording of this to make it a situation where I don't have to, or the individual in question doesn't necessarily have to file a $400 variance fee and other fees involved. And I've got a trial date set for November now. It keeps getting pushed back. As it is, I realize I'm probably not going to get it passed. I'm probably gonna have to get it taken down unless a ruling or a writing of the law can be changed. So we'll see how that goes. I do have one final statement of my next door neighbor who just purchased the house right next to me. His name is Todd Bowman. He resides at 121 East Nichols. My carport is directly next to his property. This is what he says. Mark, I am emailing regarding your carport. Per our conversation, I have no concerns with the location of your carport on your property. When I walk my property here at 121 Nichols, I see that your carport is easily on your side of the property line. I have no concerns with its appearance or it seems quite functional. As I've walked my dogs around town since we moved in last month, I've seen numerous properties with multiple outdoor structures on their premises, typically a shed and a carport. My concern with you moving the carport to the location you indicated is runoff. In its present location, any water is shed down the carport and through the lawn toward the street. If you move it further back on your property, it would likely shed water toward our respective foundations. If you prefer nothing else, it would cause the wood and fence to rot more quickly than otherwise on our fence line. I have no concerns about the current location and would actually prefer that you be permitted to leave it there. Sincerely, Todd Bowman. That's all I have.
Thank you very much.
And I'll grab the pictures and thank you for your time.
Anyone else?
Did you get to see him, PJ? Yeah. Oh, okay.
Bill Peterman, 141, or let's see, 19431 West 200th Street, Spring Hill. I just wanted to bring up that last time I talked about so many executive sessions, and that's what I was trying to get at, is we have so many. Not that, because I understand that there's certain laws that don't allow you guys to talk about certain things in front of the public. So I just wanted to bring up, I understand that, we have so many of them. I mean, we have more of those than we have probably items to talk about tonight. The other thing is, we need to do something with our high school and middle schools. Right now, I don't have my books with me. You guys have seen the books I have on the history of Spring Hill. I've loaned them to the schools. How come I'm a citizen's loaning the books to the school? Why isn't the city loaning the books to the school? Can we have enough books that we could possibly give the high school and 3 junior highs, get 4 books, and give them some books so they can know that the first doctor or female doctor west of the Mississippi is buried in the cemetery up here, that her son was shot and killed by Contrails raiders? There's a lot of things in there. I also give out, my mom's 94. And we found her old history book for the 30s. So they borrowed it too. Theories have changed. The world is not flat. So there's a lot of difference in history, what it was in 1930 and what it is today. So I just, I'll find some way to copy that book. If you guys can find some way to make 4, I got 2 books. I've got the one from the Presbyterian Church, and then I've got that one that gives, that you guys supposedly have on file.
Yeah, we have it on file.
Okay.
I think is it the Methodist church one?
Yeah, the Methodist
Yeah,
Church.
it's
There's one.
their
There's one,
document.
and then there's another one book out. There's 2 of them out.
Are you talking about the brochure that the Historical Society put together?
I don't know, is it that thick?
it was more of a brochure.
Oh, no, this is a book.
We have the Methodist one. You could probably show it to me, but those
Okay.
aren't,
But anyway, is there any way you guys can get some way, so why not teach our kids the history of Spring Hill?
Yeah, it's actually a fascinating book. I have two of them as well, and it's awesome. I love history, so I love
Yeah,
love
I am
reading through
too.
it, and I've printed out some.
And
of
the
pictures
teachers
in my
fall in love
office.
with it when they seen it.
Yeah.
Link, the superintendent,
Mm-hmm.
fell in love with it.
Yeah.
So how can we find a way? If nothing else, call Link, say, hey, can we work a deal out here where we'll pay in half and you'll pay half? Let's get our I'm real big on educating the kids. You know, teach them now and you don't have to pull them out of jail. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. I do, just to address the thing a little bit that Mark was talking about with the carport. I know we talked about it one time before.
Hey.
I know this isn't a discussion item, but
Yeah, so there's an active, right, case on,
this is an active proceeding. We can't talk about.
Yeah.
Okay.
sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Yeah,
You're good.
because it's going through municipal court.
Okay.
No comments there.
Well, I'll let them handle that part then. Anyone else? If not, we'll go ahead and close citizen participation this time and move on to the consent agenda. These are items that the staff considers to be routine maintenance, but if there are any questions or comments, now would be the time. If not, I entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved. Second.
Got a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0-0. Next, we'll move on to formal council action. The first item on the agenda is consider approval of agreement with Atmos Energy Corporation for the 199th Street utility relocation. And Mrs. Abel, you have the floor.
Okay, the next item before you is a request to enter into an agreement with Atmos Gas for the relocation of their gas line along 199th Street. With the improvements to 199th Street, there's both gas and water that need to be relocated. Actually, all the utilities need to be relocated. But gas and water in particular, those were located in their own easements. Any utility that's located in the right-of-way and not inside an easement, they have to relocate at their own expense. Since this was a dedicated easement, that was a utility easement, it's the city's responsibility to cover those costs. I was before you a couple of months ago with an agreement with Water One, similar situation. A portion, about 60% of the water line was in the utility easement, so the city was responsible for 60% of that relocation cost. With the gas line, 100% is located in a gas line easement. With the improvements to 199th Street, the way we designed it was so that we would have space to add 2 more lanes in the future once we were grown and develop. Once we're all grown up and we go to a 4-lane configuration, we went ahead and acquired the pipeline easement further to the south so that it's in its forever home. It's going to be in the ultimate location so that whenever we have that 4-lane configuration, we won't have to relocate it again. So we are entering into an agreement with Atmos Gas for that reimbursement of those relocation costs. And the total cost is $815,743.28. And wanted to include in the staff report some of the costs that we're looking at with this project. We're still within our budget. We actually just had our bid opening today for 199th Street. We received 6 bids. The lowest bidder was just under $5 million. So we're actually under the engineer's estimate. So we're going to have a little bit more cost savings with this project. So with that, staff recommends the approval of the gas main relocation agreement with Atmos Gas in the amount stated in the report. I'm available if you have any questions.
And that's gonna come out of CARS, some of the CARS funds and the temp notes?
Yes, that's going to be, so the CARS fund is a 50-50 partnership with the city
Okay.
and the county. And then the rest of that will be the temp note that we have on the project.
Okay, I just wanna get clarification on that, thank you.
So you have noted here the construction cost. Is that for the road or just for the movement of the gas line?
So which cost are you talking about? The 815?
No, the 6.6.
Oh, the 6.6,
7.
that is for the entire project. So that is the construction of the 2 lanes of improvements, curb, gutter, roadway for that section from Ridgeview to Renner. It's gonna include the trail on the north side. It'll include underground storm sewer, and streetlights and some improvements to the roundabout and all the things that we're gonna be improving along that stretch of roadway. So, and then, like I said, the actual cost that we received from the contractor, the low bidder was $5 million.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments?
Yeah, I'm trying to think about how to ask this. Who came up with the $100,000 estimate?
I don't know. That preceded me. I think that was just some numbers that we put into the grant application at the time.
Okay.
That was understanding that a lot of the relocations would occur by the utilities.
Yeah, because we didn't.
It's
whoever
usually
did
a
didn't
rule of
realize
thumb.
what easements they were in.
Yeah, so that initial budget, that was for grant purposes. Just, we go off of a percentage that the total cost is gonna be X amount, and that's based on a per
Oh, so
lane.
it's more of a
mile.
percentage rather than knowing the specifics for that.
We didn't know the
particular project.
specifics at the time whenever we applied for this
Okay,
3 years ago.
yeah,
Because we didn't have that level of detail in the plans, and usually it's based off of a per lane mile estimate for the total cost, and then you take engineering as a percentage of that, and then some of the construction materials testing right away. It's all based off of percentages. So that $100,000 is just a rough estimate based on some of the other projects. This is a unique project because we have a considerable pipeline easement that already exists along this corridor that usually doesn't exist on other roadway projects like ours.
Well, and
So-
also initially 3 years ago, we weren't really initially considering a 4 lane, and then kind of we got to putting all of our heads together and like, we don't want to do this twice. We don't want to.
so is that more the issue, we're getting further out than we thought we were gonna get, is that kind of?
Well, I think even with the 2 lane
We're still have that
configuration, we
issue.
still would have had some relocation costs. Probably not to this degree, but we did want, we still would have had them. It wouldn't have been $100,000. It would have been probably somewhere in the middle.
Okay. Are we, whatever easement it goes into now, are those gonna be considered utility easements again, to where if we had to go even bigger, like 6 lanes down the, I mean, I don't know, I'm just thinking, down the road, are we gonna be in a space to where we can expand the road more, even if it's 4 lanes or more, or?
Those are gonna be in dedicated pipeline easements, so that is specific to the gas pipeline.
So we're still kind of in the same boat if there was some.
We would be, but we're good.
But we
for
should
the
be doing
4 lane.
it to hold us over for a long, long time.
Yeah, we're not even to 4 lane
Yeah,
capacity right now.
yeah, okay. Just hard to see a 800%. But that makes more sense if it's a percentage thing.
It's a percentage thing, and it was kind of an unforeseen special circumstance. You know, this is a transmission line that doesn't usually appear on all roadway projects.
So in the future, when we go to do CARS projects, can we look at that rather than just the percentage for bids? Or can we say, we've had this issue before, so now we need to look into it further before we?
We've got a pretty good idea.
We got lucky because we have a lot of fluff everywhere else, but
Right.
it could have been really probably bad.
It could have been. Yeah, we have a really good idea of where several of our utilities are. Gas is one of the ones that we don't have a whole lot of mapping and information on, but we've got the ability to look at a lot of those utilities in Johnson County, Ames, and in Beacon. So we'll try to make a better effort in the future just to kind of maybe add a little bit more contingency in there based on our knowledge of the utilities in that location.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is a significant difference.
I just know, I know like when I was working downtown, when they were doing, what was the internet, Google internet down there? And they had no idea where a lot of these utilities were and just hitting everything, so.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing either to finally know where, I know we have some issues with water lines, it's kind of the same thing here. So, it's good to know where they are, not when it's that much more expensive, but I think as long as we can learn from this, it'd be, cause yeah, it seems like this is pretty standard, then you're like, oh crap, really? I've done it with home projects before, where it's like 5 times more than you think. So, okay, I just kind of wanted to understand what happened there.
Mhm.
It's a pretty significant change.
Any other questions or comments? If not, I entertain a motion.
Move to approve the gas main relocation agreement with Atmos Energy Corporation in the estimated amount of $815,743.28.
Second.
Got a motion in 2 seconds. Is there any other comments? Not? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0-0. Next item on the agenda is consider approval of pavement of easements and deed of dedication for the Northeast Sewer Interceptor. And Mr. Lau, you have the floor.
Good evening, everyone. A couple months ago, I was before you presenting a resolution and ordinance to start the eminent domain process for our Northeast Sewer Interceptor. We have now made it through that eminent domain process, so filed that legal action. The court appointed 3 neutral appraisers. They had an appraisers hearing a week or 2 ago here in this room. The city was represented by Tim Orrick, who you all retained as sort of an expert on eminent domain. Tim did a tremendous job, and the appraisers came out with a final number that was very similar to what we had targeted. So where we are in the process is we have 30 days from that, which was be towards the end of this month, to pay the amount the appraisers assessed the property we're taking at into the district court for Johnson County. And once that is done, the city will be able to take possession of permanent easements for sewer, temporary construction easements that will last during the construction of that sewer line, and then just under a 1 acre kind of tract of land on which the city will be building a lift or pump station and then an access drive into that. And that'll be right off 183rd Street. So this is, and you have it in your packet, the invoice that Mr. Ork prepared for the city, kind of identifying how much it is and where it's going. And we'll be ready to have that delivered. He has volunteered to deliver that to the court personally himself, which is a very nice touch, and we'll get that in and get moving on with this project. So.
Do you foresee any issues? Because didn't they want quite a bit more?
They did, and they do have the right to appeal.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
They have 30 days to issue an appeal. So I have heard no indication either way if they will or will not. If they appeal, they can always dismiss their appeal later. So there's sort of some level of incentive for them to do it as a placeholder. I would not be surprised to see an appeal. I hope they don't. I think it's a very fair valuation. So if they do appeal, we will continue to work with them to find a resolution. Worst case scenario, on an appeal, it would be brought before a jury in Johnson County, and a jury would not see what the appraisers did here the other week and would make their own kind of valuation of that property, which is a tricky thing to get 12 people who aren't real estate professionals all on a board there. So everyone hopes to avoid that process, but that would be kind of the worst case scenario. Yeah.
What's the timeline look like if we go to appeal?
Sort of at the court's mercy. So it's not going to be an expedited hearing the way it would be under other types of statutes for elections or this. But I would anticipate 6 months probably. So hopefully that doesn't happen. We'd like to get this project going so we can extend our infrastructure up into that area.
And did we move it a little bit north, or is it the one right on 183rd?
No, so it's right on 183rd. We were taking them what we initially filed on. So
Okay.
yeah.
And 150 is kind of what we thought, right?
Yeah.
2 to 250, and then they praised it at 158.
Well, I thought we were thinking it was 150, so it's right there. Okay.
It's a perfect result. Would have loved it to be lower. We argued for it to be lower, but a good ruling usually leaves everybody a little unhappy. So that's where we are.
We must be doing good up here. I'm just kidding.
Something.
Any other questions or comments? If not, I entertain a motion.
I move to direct staff to process payment to the clerk of the Johnson County District Court in the amount of $158,100 for payment of eminent domain acquisition of easements and property for Northeast Sewer Interceptor.
A second.
Got a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 5-0-0. Next item on the agenda is consider approval of a special event application, Glow Run 5K with the Spring Hill Recreation Commission. And Madam Clerk, you have the floor. And
Mr.
Brian-
Mayor, I'm gonna sit out.
Yeah, I kind of figured you would. All right, we'll grab you when it's done.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight, we have a special event submitted by the Spring Hill Rec Commission for a Glow Run 5K. It's scheduled for October 18th from 4 to 8 p.m. The Rec Commission has been working with the police department on a route, and the run will take place on the sidewalks since it will be in the evening and dark. They came up with a better plan to have all the runners and walkers on the sidewalk. There will be, they did request help from the Spring Hill Police Department, and they're gonna have barricades at Nichols, Hale, and South Street, because that's where the runners will have to cross an intersection in the street, so they'll be able to be there to help them cross the street safely. And then that goes down and around, and then everything is on the sidewalk again, so they won't have to cross further down. We did have a comment from our Community Development Department, and it was about signs and to make sure that any temporary signage be on private property and not public right-of-way. And all the other departments that looked at it did not have any comments. So with that, a suggested motion is to approve the special event permit for the Glow Run on Saturday, October 18th from 4 to 8 p.m. And I'm available for questions.
I have a question. I don't know if you know this, but are the sidewalks pretty good? Because
I was just thinking about that at night.
Well,
They're running
'cause
at night on the
I've-
sidewalks.
I've actually peeled out on a sidewalk before.
I don't know if they went the route. I can have Public Works review that's what sometimes we do on the streets, just to make sure that there's no potholes. But since there's sidewalks, I don't know if the Rec Commission actually walked the
Looks
sidewalks.
like Chief
but-
might have an answer.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, myself and we went over the route. Sidewalks appear to be good.
Good.
Where they're gonna be, doing the walk. And just to clarify one thing, they will have volunteers at Nichols, Hale, and South Street. The barricades will be there. They're also, I know the Rec Commission was gonna buy stop signs so that the people that are gonna man those, the volunteers manning those intersections will actually have stop signs in their hand. And then as the bulk of the runners get through, obviously they'll pull those barricades back so that obviously traffic can move freely through the street, but as they get the runners, they'll pull them back across, temporarily close the roadways. We also plan to have an officer just monitor the run in the area so that we can kind of head off or be proactive if we see things that need to be corrected. So we'll be making contact with the run event coordinators early on, and then we'll just monitor the event throughout its course.
Thank you, Chief. Any other questions?
No, I don't think so. I'm just kind of looking at the route, and it does look like I know these sidewalks pretty well. My wife knows them a lot better than I do. She runs miles and miles every day down these, but I go down them every weekend. So yeah, I do think they are in decent shape. So that's good. Any other questions, comments? I think I'm dragging my kids out to this too. So if not, I entertain a motion.
Move to approve special event permit for the Spring Hill Recreation Commission's Glow Run 5K run to be held on Saturday, October 18th, 2025 from 4 to 8 p.m.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Somebody want to grab Brian? I was signed up without my permission. No, I don't care. It's just like, I signed you up. All right, that ends formal council action at this time. We'll move on to announcements and reports. I don't really have anything. Mr. Young?
No report.
Mr. Throne?
No report today.
Mr. Peel?
No report.
Mrs. Feback.
So I have a question, and I don't want to put you on the spot, Lane, but I'm going to.
Put me on the spot.
Okay, so it's not bad.
It's not.
Can you talk a little bit about your experience when you went to Washington DC? Or were you gonna mention that in your? Or can you not do that? Okay, it was okay, never mind.
Yes. Went up there, we're working on a project
Yeah,
and met with our representatives and trying to get support for the state of Kansas. And yeah, that's it.
I know, I just think it's neat that you went.
Yeah.
And were able to advocate for that, so that's good.
Sorry. Hopefully say more later.
No, that's okay. And then, let's see. I guess we went ahead and there was an update sent on the 191st signalization, right? On the,
Correct.
was that on the city?
Yes. Currently KDOT is doing an expedited study on that.
Okay.
I believe it's supposed to be done around the end of October. Once they get that, then they plan to meet with us and discuss moving forward, if there's any changes in that, what it could look like, if it's the design that we submitted or if it's another design that they're considering. So hopefully by the end of October, we'll have some feedback or early November.
Which was better news than we originally thought. We thought
Yep.
we were.
They're doing two studies. One they're calling the K7 corridor study. That's going to take the majority probably into August of 26. This is a different one that's going to be expedited. So there's two different studies.
And there was a discrepancy in some of the staff thought that they were putting it on delay until the entire K7 corridor study was done. And so that's what we had been told, and then we were told that that's actually not the case. So
I think enough people contacted Topeka that it helped to expedite that study.
Great.
Anything else?
No, sir.
Mr. Grant?
No report.
Mr. Massey?
Quick update, we're going through the process of interviews, receiving resumes right now for multiple positions in Community Development Department. We hope to have some of those wrapped up here in the next couple of weeks. And, you know, as we get the right candidates, we're bringing them in, interviewing them, and hopefully get them on board here in the next 30 to 60 days. The other thing is, we do have a new staff person. We have a new PIO, Jenna, if you'd step up, Jenna Gant. And she's already started to hit the ground running and doing a great job. And we really look forward to her working with all the staff and good things to come from that.
Awesome. Welcome to the team.
Welcome.
Glad to have you. Mr. Lau?
No report.
Chief Sutterby?
No report.
Mrs. Abel?
No report.
Madam Clerk?
No report.
Mrs. Dunn?
No report.
Mrs. Jones?
No report.
Wow. Mr. Spear?
Clean sweep. Nope.
All right, well, with that, we will move to executive session number 1 for 15 minutes. I don't need a break. Does anybody else? It's pretty early morning.
No, let's keep it going.
With that, I entertain a motion.
Move the city council recess to executive session for 15 minutes to receive advice of council regarding economic development pursuant to KSA 754319B2 of the Kansas Open Meetings Act. The open meeting will resume in the city council chambers at 7:50 p.m. No formal action is anticipated following the session. Persons to be in attendance are the following: Lane Massey, City Administrator; Ben Hart, Baker Tilly, Municipal Advisor; Colby, I don't know, I'm not gonna go there. Kobe Cade, Baker Tilly, Municipal Advisor; Spencer Lau, City Attorney.
Second.
Got a motion and second. Is there any further discussion?
Oh, and Rhonda Dunn, Finance Director. She's not.
Yeah, I second the inclusion of Rhonda.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0-0. See you soon. All right, guys, welcome back. Let the record reflect that the governing body reconvened in open meeting at 7:50 p.m. No decisions were made or during the executive session. The discussion was limited to the subject stated. And with that, I entertain a motion to move into executive session number 2.
Number 30 on this one?
Yep, 30.
I move the city council recess into executive session for 30 minutes to discuss personnel matters of non-elected personnel pursuant to KSA 754319B1 of the Kansas Open Meetings Act. The open meeting will resume in the city council chambers at 8:22 p.m. No formal action is anticipated following the session. Persons to be in attendance are the following: Lane Massey, city administrator, and Spencer Lau, city attorney.
And second.
Got a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Not all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0-0. See you guys not very shortly. All right, welcome back, everyone. Let the record reflect the governing body reconvened in open meeting at 8:22 p.m. No votes were taken or decisions made during the executive session. Discussion was limited to subject stated. With that, I entertain a motion to extend
How do I have to say it? Can I just say extend?
the session for
It's on the,
Oh, at the bottom?
it's on the narrative. Oh, it used to be.
Move to extend our executive session for 20 minutes, same attendees, until 8:44 p.m.
Second.
got a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
Aye.
Aye.
Not all those in favor.
Oh. Aye.
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 Motion carries 5-0-0.
Who seconded that?
Brian.
All right, welcome back, everyone. Let the record reflect the governing body reconvened in open meeting at 8:44 PM. No votes were taken or decisions made during the executive session. The discussion was limited to the subject stated. And with that, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Not all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Have a great night, everyone.